Hey, and welcome to this lesson on binomial radical expressions. Central question and objectives for this lesson: what is a binomial radical expression? And so we're going to look at those, and then we're going to add and subtract binomial radical expressions. We're going to multiply binomial radical expressions, and then we're going to simplify those radical expressions. Standards: apply and extend the properties of exponents to solve problems with rational exponents. Write expressions in equivalent forms to solve problems, and extend the knowledge of rational functions to rewrite in equivalent forms. So simply, a binomial radical expression is just a binomial expression, two terms, just like, x plus 4, that's a binomial. Only a binomial radical expression means that it includes a radical in either term or both terms. So for example, if I had 2 cube root of x plus 3 cube root of x, that is a binomial radical expression. But I could actually add those. Because they have the same radical, they have like radicals, I can say that is 5 times the cube root of x. Okay? I could also multiply. So if I had 1 plus the cube root of x times 2 plus the cube root of x, I could multiply those together. And I could get, just like I would multiply two binomials, take the first term, multiply it by the two terms in the other binomial. So I get 2 plus cube root of x, and I take the second term and I multiply it by both terms in the other binomial. So cube root of x times 2 is 2 cube root of x. Cube root of x times the cube root of x is the cube root of x squared. And so if I simplify that, I got 2 plus 3 cube root of x plus 3 cube root of x squared. Here's another example of adding or subtracting binomial radical expressions. They both have like radicals, the square root of 5x. So I can say 3 times the square root of 5x minus 2 times the square root of 5x gives me 1 times the square root of 5x. So this may look a little confusing at first, but it's just another example of adding or subtracting like radicals. However, we need to simplify the radicals first. So if we take the square root of 12, it's actually square root of 4 times 3 plus the square root of 25 times 3 minus the square root of 3. If I simplify the first two terms a little more, square root of 4, well, I can do that. That's 2, so 2 times the square root of 3. So square root of 25 is 5, so I can do 5 times the square root of 3 minus the square root of 3. Now, I have like radicals in each term, so 2 times the square root of 3 plus 5 times the square root of 3 minus 1 times the square root of 3. 2 plus 5 is 7 minus 1 equals 6 times the square root of 3. And that is the simplest form of the radical expression. Here's one more example of multiplying binomial radical expressions. So if we take the first term, multiply it by the two terms in the second binomial, we get 4 times 5, which is 20. 4 times 4 square root of 2 would give us 16 times the square root of 2. Then we take the second term, multiply it by both terms in the second binomial. So 2 times the square root of 2 multiplied by 5, which would give us 10 times the square root of 2. And 2 square root of 2 times 4 square root of 2 will give us 2 times 4, which is 8, times square root of 2 squared. Now we'll simplify 20 plus 16 and 10 is 26 times the square root of 2. And actually, square root of 2 squared is actually just 2. So we're going to do 8 times 2, and that will give us 16. 16 and 20 is 26. So 26 plus 26 square root of 2 is our final answer. Here's a look at your homework for this lesson. First, you're going to add and subtract if you can. You may not be able to add and subtract all of these. Remember, you have to have like radicals. So add or subtract if possible. Then you're going to simplify the expressions and then add or subtract if you can. And then multiply the expressions using the process shown in the lesson. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me on BBIM, text message, phone call, email, whatever's easiest for you. Meet me in the Math Cafe Monday through Wednesday at 11 a.m. If that schedule doesn't work for you, you can go into Math Cafe any day, 9 to 3. There's a math teacher in there willing to help you with your assignments. Make sure you come to live class where we can talk about this a little more. Good luck on this assignment, and we'll see you later.